trusted news source, ABC6 News at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Our top story today.
You know who didn't have due process? You know who didn't have their constitutional right to life respected? The kids at Parkland and Sandy Hook and Uvalde and Buffalo, and the list goes on and on. So spare me the bullshit about constitutional rights.
Rhode Island Congressman David Cicilline front and center on the national debate on gun control. His comments on Capitol Hill going viral today. ABC6 News reporter Yanni Trigelis caught up with him this morning. He's here in Rhode Island, and Yanni joins us with more on what he had to say. Yanni?
Yeah, good afternoon, Doreen. First District Congressman David Cicilline advocating for stronger gun control laws as the issue of gun safety remains at the forefront of this country. Now, following that heated exchange yesterday with Republican House members, the committee voting by way of 25-19 to pass several bills that would improve gun safety, and that is by way of the Protecting Our Kids Act. Now, this act, it aims to help move forward gun safety in America by raising the minimum age to purchase an assault rifle to 21 and banning high-capacity magazines, as well as several other gun safety measures. Now, this bill, it will now move on to the House for a vote next week, and the congressman has been a major player in the fight against gun violence on the national stage, currently a sponsor of 5 gun safety bills. And in an interview with ABC6 earlier this morning, Congressman Cicilline calling the issues of gun violence seen across the country an issue unique to only America, with 27 school shootings already this year.
We have a gun violence epidemic. Guns are now the leading cause of death of American kids. That is something which no one should accept. This is a peculiar problem in America. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the developed world. And we have the ability to do something about it. And that's what we did yesterday.
Today, the congressman and other state leaders, as well as gun safety advocates, will be in Providence for an event highlighting National Gun Safety Day, which is today, June 3rd. And we will have a reporter at that story, and they will have that coming up later today on ABC6 News this evening. Live in North Smithfield, Yanni Trigelis, ABC6 News.
All right, Yanni, thank you. And President Biden addressed the nation last night on gun violence, the president urging Congress to act. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest on that.
With a row of illuminated candles behind him representing all U.S. states and territories, President Biden making an emotional plea for action in a primetime address Thursday night.
It's time to act, for God's sake. How much more carnage are we willing to accept?
The president calling on Congress to pass red flag and safe storage laws and strengthen background checks. He also wants to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. And if not, he says the age to buy them should be raised from 18 to 21. He's also hoping to see more mental health resources across the country.
After Columbine, after Sandy Hook, after Charleston, after Orlando, after Las Vegas, after Parkland, nothing has been done. This time that can't be true.
Bipartisan talks on new gun laws are underway, but the president knows passing gun reform legislation is not easy.
And if Congress fails, I believe this time a majority of the American people won't give up either. I believe the majority of you will act to turn your outrage into making this issue central to your vote.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham tweeting saying he stands ready to work across the aisle to find common ground. This after consecutive mass shootings in recent weeks. In Buffalo, New York, 10 black people were killed at a supermarket in what authorities believe was a racially motivated attack. Then at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas, 19 children and 2 teachers shot dead. The latest on Wednesday in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Authorities say 4 people were shot dead at a medical facility by a disgruntled patient targeting a doctor.
A lot of the gun control reforms the president has called for were passed last night by the House Judiciary Committee and will go to the full House next week, but there's very little chance it will pass in the Senate. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And now to the weather on a rather overcast Friday afternoon as we look live over Providence with our sky cam. There is good stuff coming, though. Bill Guile is in the Weather Center for Chelsea this afternoon. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Doreen. Yes, there is better weather coming our way for the weekend. In fact, we'll get a little improvement this afternoon evening, but we did have a few rain showers go on across the region just a few hours ago. Not a whole lot of precipitation, but just a little bit to get the roads wet. Providence, we're at 60 degrees right now. We're still holding into the upper 50s further to the north, but down towards the coastline, getting a little bit better. How about westerly? 68 degrees. Why is that? Look at this satellite and radar imagery. The clouds are breaking. The sun's beginning to pop out down there. These are the showers that went on by, and that actually helped try to, well, get rid of a little bit of the pollen that was in the air, but it didn't do a whole lot. Notice it back through the Connecticut River Valley, that sky is clearing out. Now here, if you're a pollen sufferer, allergy sufferer, I should say, yeah, I got a little bit of a break just a little while ago, but it's not going to do much, and it's not going to get any better going through the weekend. Speaking of which, here's the way things are going to be shaping up as we go through the rest of the day. Some sunshine developing, temperatures over upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Overnight tonight, mainly cloudy, into the 50s for lows again. And then starting off this weekend, look at this, the sunshine's popping back, and our temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s. Nice, comfortable air. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to look at the rest of the weekend forecast for you. Doreen?
All right, Bill, thank you. Well, a Providence man accused of killing his girlfriend and putting her body inside a refrigerator is due in court this afternoon. 53-year-old Nathan Cooper facing murder charges for the death of Sherbert Maddox. Police say Cooper stuffed her body in a fridge after killing her, and that her body was in the home for at least 2 days before she was found. Cooper is currently being held without bail. He's being arraigned in Providence Superior Court. A groundbreaking ceremony this morning in North Smithfield for the Route 146 reconstruction project. That stretch of road from 295 to the Massachusetts border is in dire need of repair. The massive $196 million plan will look to make the highway safer and reduce congestion with the goal of cutting down on vehicle emissions. And the Massachusetts DOT announcing that the New Bedford-Fairhaven Bridge will be closed on Saturday from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. The bridge will be closed so a production crew can shoot a movie. Drivers are reminded they cannot stop their vehicles on the bridge to watch the filming. And if the weather is lousy, the filming and detour will happen on Sunday instead. And now to the Celtics in the NBA Finals. The C's now lead the series against Golden State 1-0 in their first Finals appearance since 2010. Last night, they were down nearly 14 points in the third quarter, but they made up that deficit and then some by the fourth. The Celtics hit 9 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Warriors 40-16. C's take game one, 120-108. And ABC6 is your home to the NBA Finals. Sports director Nick Coit and Ian Steele have the series between the Celtics and Warriors covered. Game 2 is Sunday. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. And in health news today, health experts from the CDC and the White House will be holding a telebriefing today on the monkeypox. The first case of monkeypox in the U.S. this year was found in Massachusetts in May. And since then, cases have been found in New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Sacramento. Health officials haven't raised alarm bells yet, and the U.S. has released some monkeypox vaccines from the national stockpile for a small number of people who have been exposed. And the CDC is updating COVID-19 community levels. All Rhode Island counties are now considered medium risk. Newport County, which was the only one designated as high, has been downgraded to medium. This is based on case rates and data on hospital admissions and the percentage of hospital beds occupied by COVID-19 patients. And Dr. James McDonald announces that he is stepping down as the interim director of the Rhode Island Department of Health. His last day will be July 29th. He says it was a hard decision, but he tells ABC6 News he is stepping down because his mother has Alzheimer's and his 91-year-old father is struggling to take care of her. He'll be moving to upstate New York. There is still much more ahead. The royal reunion, but missing the Queen at her own Jubilee celebration. We'll have the latest from London. Plus, a better-than-expected May jobs report amid fears of an economic slowdown. And later, Lego Pride, the latest inclusive campaign from the popular toy maker. Back now with the latest from London. And Queen Elizabeth was initially planning to attend a service of Thanksgiving in her honor. But after multiple events yesterday and her ongoing mobility issues, she decided to watch the event at St. Paul's Cathedral from Windsor Castle. ABC's Inez de la Catera is at the festivities.
This morning, thousands lining the streets outside St. Paul's Cathedral, hoping to catch a glimpse of the royal family gathering for the Platinum Jubilee's service of Thanksgiving in honor of Queen Elizabeth. Unfortunately, the event going on without the 96-year-old monarch. The palace says while the Queen did enjoy yesterday's Trooping of the Color and flyover, she was in what they called some discomfort after spending so much time on her feet. She decided to watch today's service of Thanksgiving on television at home in Windsor Castle.
Bless her. So she does need her rest. It was a big day yesterday. It's a disappointment, yes, but we think it's more important that she keeps well.
The Queen's grandson, Prince Harry, and his wife, Meghan, making their first formal appearance in the UK since stepping back from their senior royal duties 2 years ago. Inside the cathedral, her son and heir Prince Charles among those joining in hymns and prayer, a show of unity for the Queen marking her unprecedented 70 years on the throne. The invited guests included senior members of government, diplomats, and more than 400 essential workers, volunteers, and members of the armed forces. Last night, Queen Elizabeth participated with Prince William in the beacon light ceremony. As they lit the primary beacon, it then set off a chain of beacons shining bright throughout the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. The Queen's son, Prince Andrew, also missed today's service after testing positive for COVID-19. The Platinum Jubilee celebrations continue over the weekend with horse racing, a pageant, concerts, and thousands of parties. Inez de la Catera, ABC News, London.
Well, still to come, a crypto scam, the warning about just how much people are losing to these online currency frauds. And we'll get more on that beautiful weekend ahead in Bill Giles' full forecast next. In consumer news, the May jobs report is out, and the U.S. government reports that employers added 390,000 jobs in the month. It represents a slower pace of hiring as the historically hot labor market shows signs of cooling off. The unemployment rate remained at 3.6%. That's slightly higher than the half-century low recorded in February of 2020, before the pandemic hit. And the FTC is out with a new report about the rise in cryptocurrency scams. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis has those details.
This morning, new data from the FTC about scammers in the crypto craze. Since the start of 2021, more than 46,000 people reported losing more than $1 billion in crypto to scams.
People hear stories about other people making lots of money. They don't want to miss out.
And those 20 to 49, more than 3 times as likely as older people to lose money. Jeffrey Volks says he was duped after seeing what he thought was a legitimate post on a friend's social media page about making a lot of money investing in crypto. He says he initially reached out, set up an account, made an initial $500 investment, and saw a huge jump.
In my account, it was $4,900. And I was like, wow, I made $4,900. And I was so excited. He was like, how would you like this money to be sent?
Then Jeffrey says he was told he needed to pay a withdrawal fee and more fees to send the check.
I lost $1,200 and I felt embarrassed.
He says only after all this, he discovered that post was fake.
There's also no bank, no centralized authority to flag suspicious transactions and stop fraud before it happens.
Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News, New York.
Good afternoon, everyone. Things were kind of gloomy this morning. We had some patchy fog, then we had some showers come through late this morning. Now we're still left with just plenty of clouds. The showers are just about done. Providence, we're looking at 64 degrees right now. The wind has gone calm, has been out of the northeast most of the day. And as we look around the region, most of the area through southeastern Mass is still dealing with a light northeasterly breeze. And as you get down to the coastline, though, where the sun is beginning to pop out around westerly, that wind is turned onshore, coming out of the south at about 9 miles per hour. Now, here are the temperatures around the region, and we see that it's warmer where that sun has begun to break out down through the south and off to the west. Check out Hartford at 73 degrees right now. Cloud deck is clearing that location, but the rest of us here in the southeastern areas through Rhode Island and southeastern Mass and the Cape, we're still stuck in the clouds, but not for too much longer. As we look at the satellite and the radar imagery here, those showers that went on through just about 10 to 11:30 this morning. Now we're on the last few drops coming across the I-95 corridor. A few more showers lingering out towards the Cape. That'll take another hour or two to clear that region. And this will be the last place to clear as well. But you can see the cloud deck, the back edge, working its way into eastern Connecticut at the present time. So we are going to begin seeing some brightening to the sky. The little trick to try to figure out, though, is will the clouds make it all the way out towards the Cape and clear the region? I'm not convinced that's going to happen with that onshore wind. I think we'll still see quite a bit of cloudiness remaining across Plymouth County and out on Cape Cod, while the rest of us here in the Ocean State are getting into some sunshine. Now, here's the culprit for those clouds and showers, a little wave of low pressure that's passing to our south today. So again, we'll get some improvement as we move through the afternoon tonight. And then we head on into the weekend, and things are looking pretty good with high pressure that's going to be building in from the west, bringing some nice comfortable air. In other words, we're talking about dew points that are going to be into the 50s. So that's pretty nice. And we're going to have some enjoyable temperatures as well that are going to be getting into the 70s. And as we go into Sunday, that high is right on top of us. So that means even more sunshine to look forward to. In other words, we'll have a little bit of cloudiness mixed in with the sun tomorrow, but hardly any clouds, it looks like, on Sunday. So here's that close-up view. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Again, for this afternoon, getting some clearing, looking for temperatures to make it between 65 and 72 degrees. But then notice the cloud deck comes right back in through the overnight tonight. We'll be in the 50s for overnight lows. Not too bad. But here's your Saturday, and we'll see readings in the low to mid-70s. Again, there will be some clouds mixing in during the course of the afternoon, and then it clears out for tomorrow night. Sunday morning starts off nice and pleasant, and during the afternoon, hardly a cloud to be found in the sky. 72 to 77 is what we're looking at. So again, the recap for today, those clouds giving way to some sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the upper 60s. Even some low 70s will check in. Then for tonight, mainly cloudy and overnight lows again back down into the 50s. And here's the weekend forecast coming your way. It looks delightful. Good deal of sun, a few clouds for tomorrow, but overall quite pleasant, a little breezy, 74. And hardly any clouds around, I think, on Sunday, 75. That stretch continues into Monday. Great weather. The next threat of any rain showers is Tuesday night and on Wednesday. Not all day rains, but we're holding in the 70s. That's your latest forecast. Doreen?
All right, Bill, thank you. Well, coming up, Lego running a special ad campaign for Pride Month, how they're collaborating with the LGBTQ plus community. Lego is launching a new campaign for Pride Month, and it's asking for help from the LGBTQ plus community. It's called the A to Z of Awesome, and here's how it works. People are asked to pick one of the words that LGBTQIA stand for, then build something that defines what that word means to them, and they can then upload an image of the creation to lego.com/A to Z builds, and it'll be featured on the website. Coming up next, a historic spelling bee to crown a champ, how it all went down. We're going to check back in with Bill, too, for another look at your afternoon forecast. Stay with us. Well, finally today, the word of the day is moorhen. It's a type of a bird, but more importantly, it was the winning word for 14-year-old Harini Logan in the 2022 Scripps National Spelling Bee. She won after the Bee's first ever lightning round tiebreaker. So the final contestants had to correctly spell as many words as possible within 90 seconds. And that big win earned Harini a trophy and a check for $50,000. Impressive stuff, those kids.
Yes,
I
indeed,
can't get
I know.
over them. I mean, they just are just amazing
It
kids.
is amazing, yes.
Yeah.
I know. And you know what else is going to be amazing?
The
Can
weekend.
you spell? Yes, and can you spell nice? Yeah, we got to get rid of the clouds today, though. We'll see some brightening this afternoon, and temperatures will be upper 60s and low 70s. But the weekend, nice and comfortable. Sunshine with a few clouds tomorrow afternoon, but hardly any clouds around, I think, at all on Sunday, and 75. And nice low humidity to enjoy as well. And even Monday's looking pretty good as well, 76 degrees. Next threat of any rain showers is late Tuesday into Wednesday.
Sunny and 75. Wow.
Perfect.
Can't beat it. Ideal. Thanks, Belle. And thank you for joining us for ABC6 News at Noon. The news continues first at 4. Have a great day, everybody.